Hey everybody, it's Josh from CollectionDX.com here with another review. This time it's the Bandai Super Mini-Pla GaoFighGar from the series GaoFighGar. It's a powered up version of GaoFighGar with different machines. That's about all I know. Never seen the series. But, you know, the cool thing is you don't need to know a whole lot about them to appreciate how cool they are and how cool they look. This is a Super Mini-Pla kit, meaning it's a plastic kit. There are 4 of these little boxes. They're all numbered. You build the Phantom Gao, the Stealth Gao 3, the Line of Gao 2, and the Drill Gao 2. You put all this together. There's one in each box. And then you can combine them. It's very toy-like in its construction. The plastic is a little different than your typical model kit, but it's not quite a toy, you know, so you don't need paint, you don't need glue, but you do need to use some kid hands, and also there's a ton of part swapping. But the original toy, either the GaoFighGar or the GaoFighGar or any of them, the whole nature of the design of this thing is part swapping. So this one's just maybe a little more than you're expecting. So we'll go in vehicle by vehicle, we'll transform them, we'll put them together, we'll show you the other accessories. This is provided by HobbyLink Japan. So you want one of these bad boys, HobbyLink Japan is the place to get it. First up is this thing called Phantom Gao. It's a ship. It's kind of a mess. It's basically, you know, it turns into a robot, but you could tell they made the robot and went, oh crap, how do we make this into a ship? And that's pretty much what they did. There's not a lot of transformation. Well, I mean, sorry, there's a fair amount, but it's not crazy. But there is some part swapping and removal. So we'll do that now to transform it. You just pull out these wings. There are decals on this that you have to put on to make it look good. You have these ball hips here. Mine, these separate easy, these panels. So you have to kind of be careful. You're going to do that and you're going to push them. Oh, see? Right there, it just happened. So you just have to have a hand on it when you do that. And then what you're going to do here is this section comes forward and then the legs come down. Alright. So now there's feet to come out. They're kind of hidden behind these panels at the bottom. See, the feet come out. They turn around. and they close up like that. And again, it mostly feels toy-like. It's poly caps and nice plastic, but you're reminded that it's a model kit when things like that happen. So, you know, if you want to throw some glue in there, probably isn't the worst idea. Alright, so let's do these arms. Flip that around. And then you gotta rotate. And then you get these fists that you just plug in. So some part swap in there. Alright, so there's that. Now this part is, again, you have to take some parts off. This goes in the back. This piece comes off. The head is underneath. And it goes back on. Before I do that though, there are two different, little gray plate in the middle. One is just a plate. One is, you can, geez, how do you even see that? It's a little sticker in there. You can use one or the other. They give you two. Plug that back in. And then the last thing is you gotta push the the tail up. But this thing right here is another thing that you may want to glue in place. It just pops off all the time. And it's kind of weird to get back in. It sticks out a bit. I mean, it's the design. But there is the Phantom Gao in robot mode. And he's very posable, you know. He's a nice figure. Look at the pictures. But he's got, you know, full knee joints. Of course, these are going to later on become the legs of GaoFighGar, so they have to be pretty posable. But we'll get into that later on. So that's all it is for Phantom Gao. Let's go to Stealth Gao. So as you can see here, it's a stealth bomber. It's a, you know, pretty solid. It doesn't do anything. There's no action features in this mode anyways. It's got the engines in the front and a little engine on the back, and I just hit a thing. Again, not a toy, model kit, so you gotta handle it with kid gloves, so to speak. That's nice. And then we have the Drill Gao 2, which is a little drill tank. Who doesn't love a drill tank? Doesn't do much, also has some fake treads. There you go, like that. And then you have the Lana Gao 2. These don't quite line up, so there's always you're always fiddling with these fins to get them to be straight. Some nice gray in the back. Like a lot of sprue marks on the back there. That's my bad. And then you get all of those pieces, including the dividing driver, and we'll get into that. But there's a lot of stuff here. There may even be more that I don't have here, but you'll see during the combination how much crap you have to do. It's a bit off-putting, is what I can say. So tilt these toes down. We're going to turn the waist around, so it means moving that up. Okay. This is going to go down like that. These armor pieces come off. The head has to come up like that, and then there's an additional connector piece that you slide in. I put the head back, and then these arm pieces come around. I twist them a little bit, but they look like this. Oh, and you have to unfold these skirts here. Skirt armor. Come on. All right, Drill Gao 2 just comes apart. Little tab. Close that up. Open your feet. And again, these just sort of open up like that. There's these little gray treads that actually act as locking mechanisms. So you got to pull them out a little bit. Here's how the legs go on. Make sure you got the right leg for the right one. Make sure these are out, these locking mechanisms. Just drop it in, clip it in. Same thing with the other leg. Whoa, I didn't have the mechanism out. Open it out. Drop it in, click it in. So by far the most frustrating aspect of this is this liner Gao piece. So you pull this out, nothing is done with that. And then of course this comes out and you have the liner. But this is all too big to fit in there. So first you have to, well, the best thing to do really is just take these apart. I know in the show it kind of slides through. You also have to remove these little panels. Well, actually you don't have to remove them. You just have to do that. Alright, so arms. I talked to you about separating these pieces. So the first thing we do is the really only this part should slide in. It's not easy and it gets stuck. There we go. Alright, so that's a bit of work. But when you're done, you can put these on like so. And watch those pieces fall off. Alright, so here's where we're at so far. Now we get this bad boy. These come off. These come out like so. The head comes out like that. And then you see these two pegs here. Those are going to peg into that. The head goes over the head. And now we have to deal with the hands. So the hands, there's actually covers in these arms, and you just sort of like slide up the little tabs, and they pop the covers out, like so. So you have default small hands that live in there, but you also have a bunch of variant hands that are a little larger. So I'm just going to go ahead and add those on right there, right from the get-go. If you're going to complain, all I can say is you're all in quarantine. What the hell else are you going to do but watch me make videos? Alright, so we're close to being done here. We have these wing parts that can swap out with translucent ones. I guess that's optional, but translucence is not really an option. So the last thing you got to do is, remember those shoulder pieces? Those clip on right up here. And there you go. GaoFighGar. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to get them here, but I'll be honest, once you're there, it's fine. He looks really good. He feels really good. He's very toyetic. That's a word, toyetic. The articulation remains really good. I mean, it's cool. It took me about 4 hours to put this whole thing together. I did it over a couple of days. I did some Facebook Lives to kind of show the process, if you were fortunate enough to catch those. But it looks pretty good, I think. So there's also a few accessories. You have the dimension driver here, and just before we go any farther with this, all this silver is sticker, and I kind of don't like that, but I guess what can you do? So to put that on, you kind of just have to use the slot that's left after you extend the hands, and it just sort of pops in if you do it right. There we go. these little pieces, these little rungs on mine pop out. I think it's because there's maybe some flash left in between the two halves. But, you know, it works out alright. In hell, there are little arm extenders. So we have to take the arms off. And then put these extenders in like so. And they just give you a little more reach around the front of the figure. We're also going to take off the hands. And we can, yeah, we got this joined Heaven and Hell hand. We can attach it if you want right now. And then basically, we just plug them back into the shoulders. Alright, so after fiddling with it for a few, you can get it to work. You put one hand in, the other one pops out. It's a huge pain in the ass, but you get there. And again, model not toy. You're either going to display it in this position or you're going to put it away and never use it again. So for those who are huge fans that want to make sure you can do Heaven and Hell, there you go. So size-wise, he's about the same size as a Super Robot Chogokin. He's about 6 inches tall. He's not huge, but he's fine. Pile of leftover parts, so keep a Ziploc handy. Overall, I mean, I'm not unhappy I built him. I don't currently have a GaoFighGar in my collection, which I do now. Once assembled, it looks pretty good. He's just a little bit frustrating to go through his modes, to combine them, to detach, to make alternate modes for Phantom Gao. It's a little fiddly, pieces pop off here and there, but you put them together, maybe use a little glue and a couple of the pain points, which you'll find out once you start putting them together, where you can maybe use a drop here and there. And it's not bad. So, you want to get one, and I know you do. You want to get your butt over to Hobby Link Japan. This has been Josh at CollectionDX.com. Hey, stay safe and wash your hands. Practice social distancing. Bye. Did I do it wrong? Let's try that again. It'll all come together. But not without some swearing. I wonder if it's this thing. This is exciting for you at home. Getting stuck. Ah, there we go. And now I can't get that piece back in. Alright, so this is going to require some editing tomorrow. And watch those pieces fall off. Come on. Yep, a lot of editing tomorrow. Hey, look, that piece fell off again. Christ. It's also kind of a pain in the ass. I don't fucking do reviews anymore, video reviews anymore. I just get frustrated. My fingers are fat. Ah, god damn it.